History tells us that Christopher Columbus discovered America October 12, 1492. We now know that Norse Vikings came to North America about 1,000 years ago, settling in present-day Newfoundland. What if transatlantic and Pacific travel was happening even before that? There have been a lot of mysteries, artifacts that cannot easily be explained by our current understanding of history. This video is about some of those things found linking the ancient Americas to the ancient Middle East. When the Spanish first arrived in South America, they encountered many advanced civilizations, especially the Inca Empire, who managed to build interlocking granite structures on top of mountains. Some blocks weighing several tons apiece. Currently, the way that we cut granite stone is with diamond-tipped tools and gang saws. How these supposed primitive civilizations managed such a feat is still a mystery. Here are the Paracas skulls discovered in 1928 by Peruvian archaeologists Julio Tello. He discovered a massive graveyard with more than 300 elongated skulls. When the skulls were tested in 2014, it was reported that the mitochondrial DNA had mutations unknown to any humans, primates, or animals of any kind. After a second round of testing was done, something just as mysterious was reported. The test results said that the skulls were about 2,000 years old and have European and Middle Eastern origins. Another strange finding in Peru is the phenomenon of mummies being found with red hair and elongated skulls. Elaborate tombs, possibly the royal bloodlines of the Paracas and Nazca people, were found, and more often than not had elongated skulls with red hair. Typically, Native Americans have black hair. Red hair is only found in about 1 to 2% of the world's population. Many theories have been put forth on the cause of the red-haired mummies. It is not from aging, sun bleaching, or hair dye, but is genetically different from most Native Americans. Red-haired mummies can be found in many different places in the world. 100,000-year-old red-haired mummies have been found in present-day China. The true history of these people remains a mystery. The next piece of evidence is just as big of a mystery. This is the Fuente Magna bowl, discovered near Lake Titicaca, Bolivia around the 1950s. It has depictions of different animals and Proto-Sumerian cuneiform script, according to Dr. Clyda Winters. Proto-Sumerian cuneiform can be found on many artifacts in ancient Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia is in modern-day Iraq. Sumerian cuneiform is the earliest known writing system. Its origins can be traced back to about 8000 BC, and it developed from the pictographs and other symbols used to represent trade goods and livestock on clay tablets. How did this bowl from Bolivia end up with the ancient written language from the Middle East? Here is the Anunnaki eagle god depiction with Sumerian cuneiform script. It is usually represented as part bird, part man, sometimes part bird, part lion. This depiction can be found on many artifacts from different civilizations of the ancient Middle East. He is usually depicted holding some sort of handbag to his side. Debates on what the handbag represents continues to be held. Also notice the head of the statues. The shape of the head might possibly represent an elongated skull. These depictions can be found in many places in the Middle East. In 1923, an Italian monk named Father Carlos Crespi Crossi was assigned to Cuenca, Ecuador, where he did humanitarian work for almost 60 years with the local people. He gained the trust of locals and even indigenous groups in the area. He liked to pay these people to help them out, but oftentimes these proud people didn't want to receive pay for nothing, so many of them started bringing him artifacts. These artifacts came from all corners of Ecuador. He acquired more than 50,000 objects. One of these objects is very peculiar. It appears like an identical depiction of the Sumerian eagle god holding a bag with his arms in the exact same position. Another artifact that was found is called the Pacacha monolith. It was found near Lake Titicaca in a pre-Inca site located 6 kilometers from Tiahuanaco. It has foreign inscriptions in Proto-Sumerian script and even holds a bag to its side like the Anunnaki statue. Though I was not able to obtain a copy of this artifact, it can be found online. The next thing that I want to mention was the Inca statue of Viracocha. Viracocha is the Incan creator god. He is usually depicted as a tall figure with a full beard and said to be light-skinned. It is said that indigenous populations did not grow facial hair typically before mixing with European explorers. Whether or not that is true I am unsure of, but usually when you see pictures of indigenous tribes of the Americas, they generally do not wear beards. Next is the cocaine mummies of Munich. The cooking mummies were purchased by King Ludwig of Bavaria from an English traveller in 1845. The mummies were said to have come from the tomb of priests and priestesses in the Temple of Ammon in Thebes. The mummies are from the 21st dynasty, making them about 3,000 years old. German scientist Sevashia Balbanova did hair shaft tests on the mummies to see what might have been in their system. After being baffled by the results, she had them independently checked. All results came back the same: the mummies had cocaine, nicotine and THC in their system. THC comes from the marijuana plant, which grows on almost every continent. The problem is that cocaine grows in a small region in the Andes Mountains, South America. Nicotine is from the tobacco plant, also another plant only native to America in the times of the 21st dynasty Egypt. There have been many theories to try to explain. There's some suggesting that an ancient tobacco plant used to grow in Egypt that has now gone extinct. There have been other theories as well, all except for what would make the most sense, it seems. After this discovery, Balbanova asked local history museums for the permission to test their mummies as well. Balbanova went on to test 134 additional mummies and bodies, including ones from Sudan, China, and Austria. 1/3 of them tested positive for nicotine and cocaine. Even the mummy of Ramses was examined. Not only were tobacco and cocaine found in his body, but the nicotine was 3-5x that of an average cigarette smoker. There have been many other findings that you will not hear about unless you search for them. For instance, Roman jars were found in Brazil in 1975. The area they were found in is now known as the Bay of Jars. Different artifacts found in Brazil have Sumerian inscriptions. In Pompeii you can see pictures of pineapples, a fruit that comes from the Americas. In China you can find ancient depictions of sweet potatoes and peanuts. There is an ancient temple in India with a depiction of what looks like corn. There was silk found in an Egyptian mummy tomb that dates to 1000 BC. There is an ancient Mayan site that is said to have unknown inscriptions found on the bricks laying in ruin. Another mysterious discovery is the ancient metal clamps found on megaliths, temples, and other prehistoric monuments worldwide. How did civilizations in Asia, the Middle East and South America all come up with the same design and technology? The use of metal clamps in T-grooves has been discovered in Tiahuanaco, Ollantaytambo, Coricancha, and the site of Uruk Rumi, Vilcabamba. These clamps were also used on the Parthenon, on buildings in Mesopotamia, Egypt, and Cambodia. Several imprints show that metal clamps intended to join huge blocks of stone that our modern machines cannot lift. These people were all separated by oceans and thousands of miles. There are Sumerian records speak of the different regions of their empire. One record speaks of a land to the west known as Tin Land. Bolivia and Peru happen to have large tin deposits, so is it possible they are speaking of South America? Whatever the case may be, these discoveries should not be hidden or intentionally not mentioned. They might possibly be the proof that our history books are incorrect and need updating. If these objects and test results are correct, they point to the strong possibility that ancient people from the Middle East sailed out of the Mediterranean and west to the Americas long before ever thought possible. There is possible evidence to support them reaching North America as well. There are many more discoveries not mentioned on here that I will put in my next videos, so stay tuned for more. Also, I will be podcasting this story and others like it. Search for Enlightened Minds on your podcast app, follow us on Instagram at Enlightened Minds merch, or check out our website. The best place to get high-energy gemstones, tarot cards, anti-radiation products, jewelry, posters, tapestries, tie-dye shirts and many other products for truth seekers at enlightenedmindsmerch.com. Thanks for watching.